when you access Business Central, you're greeted with a home screen here that really represents your specific work role within an organization. So as we sit here today and we log in and authenticate into Business Central, we're sitting here as a CFO, right? So looking at my screen here, I see some high-level information really outlining the health of my business. How am I doing from a cash flow perspective? What are some of those main KPIs I'm looking at as I access Business Central? So the main point here is everything here should be at my fingertips as soon as I connect to the solution. We're going to go through some navigation points in the solution, but before I do that, I want to talk about really how this platform sits within Microsoft and how easy it is to use and deploy alongside the rest of your business applications. So if I look at the top left of my screen here, I've got this area, I call this my waffle menu, and I can see all my productivity apps that I'm comfortable with and I use on a day-to-day basis. And then I have Business Central. So this really sits between all of those as a central business solution that's going to house all my data, but also give me the ability to then connect it to the rest of the stack from Microsoft. And we'll get into some of those concepts and show you that in action. Looking at my dashboard here, I have connected to Business Central using my Microsoft credentials, right? This is a true single sign-on with the rest of the platform, meaning I connect to my desktop, to my email. I don't have to log back into Business Central as another application, right? We are a multi-company solution, right? So as I'm sitting here today, I'm in my Sikich company. We support multiple companies, an unlimited number of companies rather. And so what I can see here is the ability to switch back and forth between different companies, right? And also consolidate my companies within that. Very easy to really seamlessly switch back and forth and work in multiple companies. And then also assign security roles to individuals that restrict access to specific companies if that's the way your organization works. Okay. That is a little bit of the overview around that high-level architecture. I'm going to now touch on some of the navigation available within Dynamics. On my dashboard here, I've got a number of different actions I can drill into with just the simple click of a button. So anytime you see this kind of blue-green color, that represents a page I can drill into. So if I want to go and look at my vendors, I can easily do that just by selecting vendors. And now I'm greeted with a list of data that I can then interact with, right? Master data in Dynamics will present to you in this way where I can see unique identifiers associated with record, as well as some of the attributes in here. So if I'm looking at my vendor master, things that are important to me, what are my payments to that vendor? What's my current balance? What is their payment terms? All that information is here at my fingertips. But as I look through the solution, there might be more I want to see, right? If I look at a specific vendor and I select my vendor for wide world importers, I have a fact box on the right side of my screen that continues to tell that story around that vendor. Without even drilling into the vendor, I can see more information, right? What are those payments I talked about? What was the last date I paid this vendor? And if I scroll down further, I can see further information, right? So very easy to access that data. Now, as I work with data here, I can sort my lists. I can filter my lists depending on how I want to get to information. I can do a quick search and I can find a specific vendor. Easy, it's going to narrow down my list for me and really give me that quick navigation to get to my data. We'll come back to some of these concepts as we go through the demonstration here, but for right now, I'm going to go back to my home screen and I'm going to talk about how we can navigate to other areas of the solution from here. We drilled into a vendor list because, as a CFO, maybe I want to just look at vendors and see kind of the status of what's going on with my payables. I also have the ability to just drill into values within Dynamics that are dynamically presented to me. So looking at my screen here, I've got overdue sales invoice amounts. I've got purchase invoice amounts. These are values. These are numbers. I can drill into those to drill into that story, right? So what's making up that overdue sales amount? I'm greeted with a similar list here within Dynamics that's going to show me all of that subledger information that's important to me. And of course, the solution is color-coded. It's going to present that information to me in graphical view so I can see it. I can drill into these specific records and then also do that same sort activity I performed earlier, right? That's a little bit on working with lists. Now, what if I want to look at my data differently here? What I have the ability to do within Dynamics is open up what we call Analyze mode. This is an incredibly powerful tool available within Business Central that allows my team to actually work with my data in more of a familiar view that you would see in Excel through a pivot table, right? What I'm showing you here is a summarized view of all of my subledger information grouped by customer. And so as I look through my list here, I can see those values, and then I can expand that further to see the information below that. And that's just as easy as performing some drag and drop actions through Business Central to get to that mode. Now, let's say I want to summarize this information. I have the ability to open up pivot mode and then present information in date views, right? So here, if I'm curious about my balances for each customer, but I also want to see that by month. As you can see here, my analyze mode is showing me that in the month of January, by customer, I have all of these overdue balances. This has really changed the game from a data analysis perspective in Business Central, because it gives me the power to work within the solution and not have to move data from my business solution over to Excel, where the security controls within that are going to allow that data to be shared with somebody who really might not be able to access that. And that is analyze mode, as I'm showing you. Another powerful feature as you're working with data, and some of the enhancements Microsoft has made to the platform, is allowing me to build my own views within here that link data from multiple tables together. So if I'm looking at my customer subledger data, but maybe there's fields from other areas of the solution I want to see, I'd be able to add those, right? And I can join those together and really make that reporting on screen and self-service for the end user. We'll come back to analyze mode as we get into some of the AI discussions and how AI enriches this with Copilot. But I really wanted to show you what that analyze mode does, because it's changed the game. Now, as I look at this, I'm looking at customer data. I also can use this across the modules. So whether I'm just dealing with financials, or maybe I'm dealing with inventory purchasing data, I have that same exact experience with those different modules within this mode. Anything that's a list, I can analyze.